If you're new here, I'm Autumn. And if you can't tell by the title, this episode is all about allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to take risks. A year ago, I made the decision to go back to school to get my master's degree and to move back to Madrid. If you're new here, I used to live in Madrid in 2023. After I graduated from undergrad, I taught English part time for about 9 months, 10 months here in Madrid. And then I came back to the US after that, and I tried to do the full time entrepreneur thing, and I realized that I didn't really love being a full time entrepreneur anymore. Number one, really fucking hard to be a full time entrepreneur and not have a stable source of income, especially because I started content creation, I started my business straight out of college. I've never had a stable job, a stable income. And I realized after burning myself out several times that, full time entrepreneurship just isn't for me at this time. I know that I will always be entrepreneurial. I'll always have a business of some sort, even when I'm working for a company or a brand. But I just need some stability. Like, my nervous system is craving a steady paycheck, predictable income. And I know that, like, right now, the job market is volatile and people are getting fired, people are getting laid off. Like, even the job market isn't stable, but it is more stable than being a content creator and an entrepreneur. So, yeah, that's kind of why I decided to go back to school. I really just wanted to give myself bigger, better opportunities. And also, I really wanted to be in a community with people. I wanted to be in an opportunity ecosystem, as I've been calling it, which we're going to talk about in another episode. I wanted to broaden my horizons and connect with people on an international level and network with people who I may not have gotten to network with if I went to a school in the US to do my master's. I wanted to, update my resume and create new experiences and opportunities, like working on projects with really cool brands, which I got to do throughout this school year, which I'll tell you about in this episode. And yeah, I really wanted to kind of hit the restart button. If you don't know, I went to school for psychology in undergrad, and through my experience being an entrepreneur, I really feel like I gained so much knowledge and so many skills as a marketer, as someone who builds brands. So I don't necessarily think I needed to go back to school to, you know, increase that. Like, yes, I loved learning more about marketing and branding and content and all the things, but I kind of knew most of what I was learning in my classes. And like, for me, when I decided to come to IE and get my master's in strategic marketing and communication, it was not necessarily for the education side of it. It was more for the opportunities, the connections, the community, because I knew that being at this school, I wasn't as eager to learn more about marketing branding. Like I just said, I kind of felt like I knew most of what they were teaching just through my experience. Even some of the classes, like the professors basically were teaching exactly what I teach to other people, pretty much bar for bar. Like, my trainings and stuff that I teach, very much on par with what I was learning at school. So over this past year, I was not here just to be in the classroom. I really wanted to transform my life in other ways. I just had goals that went beyond the classroom, and I'm so excited to share that with you because I genuinely think that sometimes to change your whole life, you have to change your whole life. And that's why I kind of like picked up and moved across the world again, went back to school, took out student loans to do this shit. Like, I knew that if I wanted to have a different reality, I had to make different choices. And I'm a go big or go home kind of gal, okay? And so I decided to go big. I decided to go big and move abroad, go back to school, get my master's, literally transform my entire life. And I'm so glad that I did because I feel like I achieved what I set out to when I decided to do this. And to kind of take you back in time, before I made this decision, like 2025, end of 2024, I had just gotten back from living in California for 6 months. And I was really unhappy. I was really unhappy with my business. I was really unhappy with my body. I was really unhappy with like my lack of social life. And I just felt really stuck. I thought that my life would look different by that point, having been on social media for several years, worked with clients, and I just felt like I wasn't getting where I wanted to be. I was very down. I had gained a lot of weight. I was very stressed. That was like peak burnout number 3. And I realized that like I did not want to keep living that life of, constantly running on the hamster wheel of pushing out content and selling and trying to, sign clients and make more money and do this career thing, this entrepreneur thing by myself. Like it is really fucking hard to be a solopreneur, especially when you have anxiety or a sensitive nervous system and you overthink everything and you're chronically online. Like it's just this uh I don't even know how to describe it. It's not a good feeling. Like unless you know, you won't know. And so I decided that I was kind of through with that. And so end of 2024, I'm like, okay, I have a couple of options. I can either go back to school and get my master's. I can either keep doing the entrepreneur thing and try and make it work. I can try and use my psychology degree and just apply to jobs and see what happens, which is what I was kind of doing. I kept getting rejected from literally everything that I was applying for. But luckily, I was still living at home with my mom. And so I didn't have to pay rent or anything. I really just had the opportunity to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And I decided that I wanted to go back to get my master's because I felt like that would give me the most opportunities, the biggest opportunities, more so than just like relying on my psychology degree from undergrad and trying to go that route of just like applying for jobs willy nilly. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to school. And so I started looking for international universities because one, I wanted to move abroad again. I honestly feel like I am the best version of me when I'm living abroad. I wanted it to be cheaper than going to a US university because I did not want to, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get another degree. And so I started looking at schools in different places. I looked in Amsterdam, I looked in London, I looked here in Madrid because I already knew I liked Madrid because I lived here before. And I had a bunch of schools on the list, but IE wasn't on the list until I talked to one of my best friends, and she was like, "Oh, have you applied to IE?" And I was like, "What's that?" And she told me about it. I looked into it, and I kid you not, the programs at IE were exactly what I was looking for. Everything that I saw on the website, it was an immediate yes. Like I was like, okay, this is the school I need to be at. Academically, all of the courses and classes sounded amazing, exactly what I wanted to do. It was more hands-on learning approach versus just, textbooks and lectures and all of that stuff. I love having a more dynamic learning environment and being able to do actual projects and case studies, and we got to work with real brands. And so I applied, I got in, and I was so excited. And I did the visa process again, which is horrendous. And so once I had kind of locked in on that, it gave me so much to look forward to. It motivated me more than ever to like get out of the depressy, season that I was in. I started working on my fitness and my nutrition and getting back in shape. I found a part-time remote role, and so I was like trying to save up my money so I could, you know, move back here. Moving abroad is very expensive. And it just, even that initial decision to go back to school and I started doing the process, it ignited something in me that just like helped me to get my spark back and just start moving again. Because when you're stuck and like you're you don't know what to do or where to go or what the next move is going to be, it's very isolating, it's very demotivating. And when I finally made that decision to go back to school and I knew where I was going to go and things started moving again, it gave me the momentum I needed to just kind of take off in a new direction. And I think more people need to realize that like all it takes is one decision, one small step, one choice to change something in your life to create enough momentum to change everything. And it doesn't have to be as big and audacious as moving abroad or going back to school. It could even just be, looking for a new job. You hate the job that you're in and you've settled and maybe you got comfortable, but you realize that like in order to get to the next level of where you want to be or change your life, like you're not going to grow at that company you're at. So you start looking for other jobs and you start getting excited about other jobs and the potential and what could be and the possibilities. And I feel like it just opens up a whole new world for you internally. And then that reflects in your external reality. So yeah, I got very excited about this new journey that I was about to go on and started getting my shit together for that. And I remember, even though I was excited, I was also very, very nervous because, like I said, I took out student loans. I took out 40,000 US dollars in student loans, and I already have quite a bit from undergrad. So I was not thrilled about that, but I've already made the decision that I'm going to be rich. Like, I feel like I'm destined to be rich in this life. So 40K in the grand scheme of things is not that bad. Like, again, moving abroad is expensive, it's scary, it's can be lonely, it's a very lengthy, intense process. Like, the visa process is no joke. So, like, that made me anxious. Leaving my mom again, I am so close to my mom. She's literally my best friend. And moving away from her again was honestly the hardest thing. It's still really hard. Like, if it was up to me, she'd be moving with me, but she has to live her life. So that was another factor that was potentially like risky for me. Starting over and like no guarantee that I'd get a job after this master's. Like, they say that like they have a 98% success rate of graduates getting jobs, but like there are no guarantees. Like, I'm spending this money, I'm moving abroad, I'm leaving everything I know behind again to chase something that like might not even work out in the end. And I didn't really have a clear plan for what I was going to do afterwards. Like, I knew I was going to continue doing my content and like working remotely and all of that stuff, but I honestly I just kind of like dove into the deep end with this decision because I knew it was either do this, like I said, go big or go home. And I was tired of being at home. Okay. So we went big. And it was the night before orientation, and I wrote this in my journal. I said, it's the night before I begin my master's program here in Spain. And this morning, I've kind of been spiraling about the fact that I have no clear plan for my life right now. I feel stuck, and the path I once had laid out step by step is non existent now. And that's kind of terrifying. But I guess it's also exciting to not have everything figured out. Despite the uncertainty, I had a good feeling about this decision to move back to Madrid and study at IE. Like, yes, I was nervous, but I was also so excited because I knew like on the other side of this experience was a version of me that I really wanted to meet, a life that like would look so different than the one that I had been living when I was, you know, living at home, feeling stuck. My business wasn't working out. I was burnt out. My anxiety was the worst that it's ever been. I was constantly dysregulated. I just wanted more, and I knew that this was the more. This was the way to get the more that I wanted because call me Delulu, call me naive, but I have a vision for my life that is so big and so beautiful. And it probably seems crazy to many people when I say that, I want all of these things. Like, I want to be rich and live a luxurious life. I want to be able to travel first class and go to five-star hotels and have a career that I actually love. And, you know, like, I have this big vision, and I don't know, like, I just felt like this decision would put me on the trajectory to that life that I really wanted. And I honestly feel like over this past year, I put myself on that path and I'm slowly working towards it. The biggest shifts haven't been with my business yet, or, my career because I, good news, did get an internship at IE. So I'll be working for IE this fall for 6 months from September to March next year. So I have that locked down, but that does not pay much. I'm not going to say how much, but just know it's not a lot at all. I don't have the big career that I want yet, but I'm building it now, and I have the connections, I have the knowledge, I have the community, the support around me that I didn't have before. And like, that's a really great feeling. I'm so glad that I took this risk and came back to Madrid and went to IE because I feel like I've completely transformed not only my life but my identity and who I feel like I've become the version of me that I wanted to be back in December 2024 when I was like burnt out, depressed, sad, living at home. Like, now I feel like I am that girl that I really wanted to be. And like, to kind of give you a glimpse of what has shifted for me personally, my health, number one, I have lost about 45 pounds so far. I was the heaviest I've ever been, like January 2025. So still got some goals that I want to reach, but losing 45 pounds in a year, amazing. We'll talk about that in another episode. I regained so much of my confidence. Like, before, when I was in that, let's call it depressy era, I was really down. Like, I felt like I'd failed, the weight gain, my business not working out, living at home. And I love being at home because I love my mom, but I truly feel like I am the worst version of myself when I'm at home in Baltimore in my childhood bedroom. Like I revert back to a version of me that I cannot stand to be anymore. So I've regained a lot of the confidence that I lost during that season. And I feel like I've really stepped into autumn 3.0, not even autumn 2.0, because maybe I shouldn't say this out loud because it sounds like a little arrogant or whatever. But I really feel like that bitch. Sue me. I feel like that bitch. And even though I haven't reached my physical health goals yet, a big piece of building that confidence last year was getting to know and like myself and love myself even at my heaviest. Like even when I wasn't, physically feeling my best, like just pouring so much love into myself and like working on my mindset, building healthier habits, getting back in the gym, like really pouring into myself and focusing on my health and my own well-being. Like that was, I don't think that I would feel the way I feel right now, and I don't think I would have gotten to where I am right now if I hadn't focused on that first. Like the entire lead up to my move back to Madrid, I was so locked in on my fitness, my health, my nutrition, my mindset, that when I got here in August of 2025, I had built up so much momentum. I really feel like I stepped into an entirely new reality. And kind of going off of that, I this is like my first time being fully independent. I finally have my first big girl apartment. And well, technically, I've had two apartments. When I first moved here, I was in one for like 3 months, and it was so dusty. My allergies were literally fucking me up, killing me. So I moved, and like now I'm in the cutest apartment. It's literally so girly pop, so cozy. I'm obsessed. I love it, even though I'm sadly moving soon. Again. And I got to live by myself for the first time, which I think is a huge milestone in every woman's life. Like I think all women need to live alone at least once in their lives, and I'm so grateful that I've gotten to live by myself for this past year and like really get to be on my own, be fully independent. It's been such a great feeling, and just being able to come home to myself and like not have to deal with roommates or other people. It's been such a great experience. Like I truly love living by myself, and I'm so grateful for this and for my mom who's helped me because like to be fully transparent, I'm not financially independent yet. So, mom has been helping me with rent while I've been, doing my business stuff on the side and making enough money to support myself in other ways. Mom has like fully supported me. Not fully, like some months I do pay my own rent, but when I need it, she helps me out. And like that's such a great feeling, and I feel like a part of me is really soaking up this experience for her because I was talking to my mom before I moved, and she's never really had the opportunity to live by herself. Maybe for a few months when she was in her 20s, she said she lived by herself, but then she met my dad and then they moved in together, and she's never lived by herself since then. So I feel very grateful and fortunate that I get to have this experience and be independent and live on my own. And I wish that every woman gets to live in an apartment they love and just like have the experience of being on their own because it is really empowering. And then my relationships, like I'm so glad I came to IE. I have found the best people in this community. I found my best friends for life. Like those bitches are never getting rid of me, unfortunately. I love them with my whole heart. If you follow me on social media, you'll have seen my besties. Sarah, Laurentia, Ace. I have several other people that are coming to mind, but I'm not going to sit here and list everyone because we would be here for like 10 minutes. But my point being, when I was living at home in Baltimore, I literally had like no friends, guys. Most of my friends were, online friends, so like I only got to see them once a year, or we just talked on Zoom or FaceTime. But in my actual city in Baltimore, I don't have friends. Like most of my friends that I had in high school, we're not close anymore, or we're not friends at all anymore. So being home, it was also very isolating. Like I did not have a social life at all. And coming to IE and just being back in Madrid. Number one, my bestie Ella, my roommate from undergrad, she lives here, still teaching English. So she's here, and it's amazing that we get to hang out all the time. And then the people that I've met at school, like it hits so different when you make friends who are ambitious and driven, and you guys are working towards the same goal, and they're in your class and you get to see them every day. And Sarah lives right across the street from me. Laurentia, she lives like a 5-10 minute walk up the road. And so we literally spent almost every single day together. And it has just been the best to have people, to have community, to have like friends who want to spend time with you just as much as you want to spend time with them. Like, they have filled my cup so much more than they know. And like, I'm not going to cry on this episode. But like, I feel like that was something that I put on my vision board and it came true. Like, I have a picture on my vision board of like having a little dinner party with like all my friends. And the three of us, because me, Sarah, and Laurentia, we all live the closest. Like, we had almost monthly dinners together, like Sunday dinners, and sometimes they would cook. And then one night I made my mom's mac and cheese, and we had like KFC. We had like an American dinner night, and it was just like so cute. And I feel like a hole in my heart has been filled by the people that I've met at IE, and I'm just like so grateful for that, for this community of bringing us all together. Like, Sarah's from India, Laurentia's from Indonesia, Ace is from Massachusetts. Like, so many of my friends are from all over the world, and I would have never met them if I came here. And it just goes to show that you can still make friends in your 20s. Like, I had best friends growing up, but like we're not friends anymore, and I've gone through a few friendship breakups that like really affected me. So I get very emotional, as you can tell, about this topic. But yeah, it was just such a beautiful community here, and so many amazing people, an international community that like I'm now a part of forever. And I am not lonely anymore. I found people that I really love and care about, and it's the best feeling to have that and to be in person with people. I think we've gotten so used to social media and like the accessibility of having a life online that many of us have forgotten what it feels like to have that community in real life. And it's unmatched. My wish is for every woman to find her group, like to find her sisters that make her feel at home, because like that's how my friends have made me feel. I don't think that I would have enjoyed this experience as much without them, because I lived in Madrid before and I kind of hated it. And so a lot of this experience being so positive and so amazing this time around, I credit them for, because like the people that I've met have truly made this experience so much better than it would have if I had just, come back as a digital nomad or like tried to teach English again. Like, it was a completely different experience. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for them. So, yeah, no more crying. Anyway, next, like career wise, one thing I really love about IE is that they have so many opportunities for you to succeed, to network, to connect with people, to work on projects. I was able to go to so many events. I probably went to at least one event per week while I've been here, because they have speakers and panels and workshops pretty much every single day, and you can like sign up for them. They're usually free. So I was able to do a lot of networking with some very incredible people. And now I feel like I've gotten so many connections that I can now leverage, whether it's for a job or for an opportunity or whatever. And like, I love being in this opportunity ecosystem, as I called it, and just having so much at my fingertips. It's just very nice to have that when you're building your career as, a young person in your 20s, because it is, I feel like, a very different job landscape than what our parents grew up in and what they had to navigate. Like, now I feel like when you're trying to build your career, when you're trying to get a really good job, it's less about your resume and it's more about the connections that you make, and not just about who you know, but also who knows you. I think that's a very important part of networking that people get wrong, because they try to meet more people and like cast a wider net. But I think, especially when it comes to jobs or opportunities, it doesn't really matter who you know as much as it matters who knows you. Because when someone has an opportunity, if you're top of mind for them, they're going to reach out to you first. Like, you're not going to have to go to the opportunities are going to come to you. So one thing that I've been really working on is when I go to these events, not just, networking with the people on the panel or, the speakers, whatever. I really wanted to connect with people who were there just like me, trying to grow in their career, meet people, networking across, not just networking up. So a lot of the events that I went to, my goal was always to connect with one person on a deeper level. And I really think I did that. And so now in the future, when I have something that let's say someone texts me about needing a podcast editor, I know people who I can recommend. If someone that I know gets a opportunity that is in like branding or social media or content, they'll maybe reach out to me first. And that's how I got my internship. My professor from one of my courses at the beginning, she and I built a really good relationship. And so when it came time to apply for things, jobs opened up at IE, and she immediately was like, oh, I'll email the president of XYZ. Oh, I'll email the director of XYZ for you and recommend you. So it really is all about relationships, I think. I'm really glad that I was able to do that. I feel like I've also been able to grow my business as well. I had a remote part-time content coordinator position, so that was a freelance like contract work. Got fired, so not great. But despite that, I feel like I found a business model that I think will really work for me, because when I first started coaching, I thought that group programs and one-on-one coaching was like the only option, and now I've realized that I can really structure my business however I want to. And so I've really enjoyed like guest teaching. I teach content once a month inside of a membership. I love doing strategy sessions, like just one-offs with people where I don't have to commit for like 3 or 6 months. I love doing contract work where I get to work on projects or content for one client instead of having multiple. So I've really been able to figure out like what works best for me, and just, you know, building my business my way and not the way that I think I should based on what I see on social media. So that's been a really great experience. I've also been able to build my portfolio. I was able to work on real client projects with real brands. The first one that we worked on was for Mondelez, the like food company, and so we got to work on a project with Milka, the chocolate. Second term, I worked on a project for Domino's, which was really cool. And then this term, I worked on a project for Amazon. So I got three really good experiences where I get to add to my portfolio and show, potential job opportunities, what skills I have, where my expertise is, how I think as a strategist and creative thinker, and just like demonstrate more of my abilities, more so than I was able to before with the clients that I've worked with. Because honestly, I have loved the work that I've done in my business over the past couple of years, but when I have tried to apply to traditional jobs, I think they look at my resume and laugh. So now hopefully they look at my resume and be like, damn, she's good at what she does. Because I know I'm great at what I do. I just needed more traditional experiences, cases, and projects that demonstrate that to, bigger brands and corporations. So yeah, I feel like career wise, I'm moving in the right direction. And right now, my goal is to just continue to apply for jobs both here and back in the States, have a few more clients on my roster, and do more strategy sessions, more brand deals, which has also been really fun. I've gotten to work with a few brands while I've been living here in Madrid. And my social media has been taking off. So that's really cool to see and very exciting. Because obviously, like I said at the beginning, I always want to have my foot in the entrepreneurship door. And being a content creator, I just feel like is part of who I am. I love sharing online. I love documenting my life and all of that stuff. So I don't think that'll ever stop. But yeah, just I feel like I've been just in the perfect place in the perfect season for creating the type of portfolio career that I want to have. And we're going to talk about portfolio careers in another episode. But lastly, as far as personal growth, like I said, my confidence has skyrocketed. I've really been able to find my personal style. That was one of my big goals that I had for coming back to Madrid, because people here dress so nice. It's honestly like a fashion show every single day. And so when I came back, I was like, okay, I want to step up my style. I want to figure out what my style is, learn how to dress myself. And I feel like I've achieved that. I love my style now. And I always feel so cute when I go out and like put together outfits. Even like recording this episode, like I've got my jewelry on, I've got my hair done, I've got a cute little shirt on. And so just like pouring more into my physical appearance has been really fun. I've been feeling a lot more grounded, and I've been able to manage my anxiety and like keep my nervous system together. and not burn myself out, because this entire year I've been not only managing my masters, I've been running my business and working with clients. I've been, creating content. I did pause the podcast because I realized I had a little too much on my plate. And so I took the podcast off for a while, but now we're back. So I've been able to manage all of that on top of having like the most beautiful, amazing, abundant social life. And I really feel like I figured out work life balance. And I have a whole episode coming up about that as well, because I've just learned so much about that stuff and staying regulated while working towards my goals and being ambitious. And so I'm very excited to share more about that with you guys, because like if I could go back to 2024 autumn, like who's burnt out, I feel like I was burnt out from misalignment, not because I was doing too much. Because I've been working more than ever, but I feel better than ever. So we'll unpack that in the work life balance episode. But yeah, that was really cool. And overall, I just feel like I've fallen back in love with my life. It has been truly the best year of my life coming back to Madrid, going to IE. I don't know how to describe it, but my friend Cass, she came to visit me, which was so fun. She's one of my best friends and she knows me so well. She worked with me as a mindset coach a few years ago, and now she's my bestie and not my mindset coach. But she was like, I can see such a difference. Like, I feel like in 2024, I was performing what I thought my dream life looked like. Now I feel like I'm actually living my dream life, and I feel so like immersed in it. I'm not performing anything at all. Like everything I post feels so authentic and so aligned, and like life feels so good. I want to share it, not like I'm trying to like force that to show people online that like life looks really good. Everything just feels so amazing and exciting and expansive, and that's exactly what I wanted this experience to feel like. I honestly feel like I'm living my dream life, and it's only going to get better, because if I can feel this good and this happy and have this much fun and abundance and such a great experience with like not that much money in my bank account, just wait until we get that built up. Okay, because literally love my life right now. I couldn't ask for anything more except for money. That's the only thing I need more of. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of how this year has been for me. I feel like a completely different person than I was a year ago. I look like a completely different person than I was a year ago. Like I was looking through my camera roll the other day while I was on the train back from Barcelona, and I like deleted 10,000 photos and videos, and like going back to autumn 2025, like January, insane, insane. So, those are the positives. On the other side, there have been some, hiccups in this journey. Like I said, I lost my remote job like randomly. I was working for an old mentor of mine, and she's not the best when it comes to like professionalism. So she kind of just like was like, "Hey, yeah, 2 weeks and you're gone." And I was like, "Oh, great." I was supposed to work with her for like 6 months, 6 month contract. She ended up kind of nixing it at 3 months because she wanted someone more local, because obviously I'm here in Madrid, she's based in the US. Fair. But yeah, that was not fun, and having to like try and piece together my income when I thought I was going to have a predictable income. Then Cass and I got robbed when I was in Mallorca for my friend's wedding. So that was also not great. And that story is on Instagram, so I'm not going to rehash it here, but just know we got robbed. My friend lost her passport. We ended up getting the bag back. Passport was still in there. So it ended up being okay. The only thing that really got stolen was her phone, our credit cards, which we canceled, and like some other small things. Um, and then, yeah, like the financial stress. Like it is hard not being fully financially independent at 25. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself when I feel like I should be a lot further than I actually am. And so having to rely on my mom for help and that kind of stuff makes me very anxious and uncomfortable. So just having to lean on her for support again has been a challenge mentally. Um, I feel like financial stress is probably the biggest thing that I am dealing with right now in my life. But we're working on it. Visa stuff, like I said at the beginning, the visa process is brutal, horrendous. And yeah, just like little things like that. I think that's natural, but honestly, life is pretty fucking good. And like I said before, I think it's only going to get better. And it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't taken this risk. Like, it was such a big risk to come back here, to do this master's, to take out that loan. And I think most people, when they're faced with an opportunity or a choice like that, they choose the safe option. They choose to stay in their comfort zones. They choose to stay in whatever situation is keeping them stuck, keeping them small, because it's easier than the alternative of taking the big risk and potentially it not working out or failing. But everything in life is a risk. And not every risk will lead to the outcome that we hope for, but we will never know what's possible unless we try. So, whether you want to, move abroad or go back to school, switch careers, quit your job, start a business, leave your relationship, whatever risk you're afraid to take, I hope that you do it. I hope that you do it because one thing I always say is take the risk or lose the chance. Either you take the risk and it works out, or it doesn't, or you stay stuck in the life, the situation that you hate. And for me personally, I think staying stuck is worse than taking the risk and potentially failing. That's just me though. I think that everything you want is on the other side of the risks that you're afraid to take. The life, the career, the love, the opportunities, they're all waiting for you if you're brave enough to take the chance. So I hope that you do. But to kind of recap the big lessons that I want you to take away from this, number one, sometimes change your whole life. You have to change your whole life. I truly think that changing your environment changes who you are, like fundamentally. Like I said, completely different person here in Spain than I am when I'm back home in the US. Number 2, you don't have to have everything all figured out. You're allowed to take a big risk and, like some people say leap before the net appears or leap and the net will appear. I kind of feel like that's what I did. I dove into the deep end not knowing what was in the water. And sometimes you have to do that to really change your life and change your circumstances. Number 3, the biggest rewards often come from the biggest risks. So if you want a big reward, you have to take bigger risks. Number 4, the person waiting for you on the other side of the risk that you're afraid to take is worth meeting. Like, you will be a completely different person. You have a completely different identity on the other side of that risk that you're going to take. So go meet that person because I feel like you will love them. And number 5, your life can change faster than you think. This year has flown by. I honestly am dumbfounded that I'm graduating next Monday on July 20th because it feels like I just started the masters not that long ago. Like, I'm stunned and I'm sad that it's already over. But it just goes to show you that, like, if you lock in for a year, you can be in a completely different place, be a completely different person by this time next year. You just have to be consistent, be dedicated, and, show up. Take the risk and show up and be consistent, honestly. So, yeah, that's all I have. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, if you want to chat, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Maybe share this episode with someone who might need to hear it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.